Hi everyone, I'm Talia and today we're doing a pen test. Alright, so I already compared the Scribbles That Matter versus the Leuchtturm1917 journals in a previous video. I'm linking that one right now. And one of my fabulous subscribers asked for a pen test, so that's what I'm doing now. I am not a people pleaser, but I am definitely a subscriber pleaser. So let me know if there's anything you ever want to see. For the pen test today, we're going to be doing the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, the Sharpie pen, the Pilot Precise V7 Rolling Ball, the Staedtler Tri-Plus Fine Liner, the Papermate Flare, the Bic Highlighter, the Crayola Super Tip, a generic Crayola marker, a Sharpie permanent marker, and a Shuttle Art dual tip brush pen. Okay, so Scribbles That Matter has a pen test page, so I'm going to be using that page for my pen test. Starting with the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, black 199 in small. Okay, and what I'm going to do for the boxes is I'm going to shade in one, and then the second one I'm going to double shade it to see if layering, pressing hard is going to make that big a difference. Maybe triple. There we go. And I almost forgot the Tombow. Let's do our Tombow. Alright, so let's see what's going on with the Scribbles That Matter pen test. Ooh, ouch. The only one that completely bled through was the Sharpie marker. I mean, even the word bled through. Everything else, when I was writing, it's ghosting, but it's not bleeding. And I'm hoping the camera can pick this up really well, but the first row of boxes seem to do pretty good on almost all of them. The ones that are starting to bleed through when I'm doing triple layers, the Tombow does a tiny bit if I do triple layer. That other brush pen did a tiny bit if I do the triple layer. The Sharpie marker bled through onto the next page, so that was really bad for triple layer. The regular Crayola marker barely bled through, and I'm a little surprised the Crayola Super Tip bled through onto the next page when I did triple layer. Very interesting. And so did the Bic Orange Highlighter. This is the Papermate Flare. It kind of did. It did a little bit of spotting with the triple layer. And the Tri-Plus Fine Liner did a tiny bit of bleed through, but nothing over here. Very tiny on the Tri-Plus Fine Liner. All right, pen test round 2. All right, moment of truth. Interesting. Not a lot of bleed through, and actually I'm having trouble figuring out where that one came from. Okay, the only little bit of spotting I see is from the Pilot V7. It's the only one that did a little bit of bleed through. Even the Sharpie didn't do bleed through, so that's really weird. I must have been pressing super hard or something. Or just maybe it scratched the paper. That could have been it. There's a fair amount of ghosting throughout. The bleed through only is really bad with the Sharpie, but we knew that was going to happen, so enough said about that Sharpie. The other big places I see the bleed through is with the V7 right there. A little bit on the Tri Plus fine liner. And a little bit on the Papermate Flare. Really none on the highlighter or the Crayola Super Tips. That's so weird. How would it be so different from the other one? It doesn't make any sense to me. And then there's a little bit of bleed through from this one, but not onto the next page. And this one was perfectly fine. So, are you guys as confused as I am? I'm super confused. It shouldn't be that much of a difference between the pens. I would expect it to be the same. Okay, now let's do a side-by-side comparison of the ghosting because I feel like the bleed through was so random that I think we should really look at just the writing part. So here is the back of the Scribbles That Matter pen test. And here is the back of the Leuchtturm pen test. I'd have to say there's a lot less ghosting going on over here than over here. Like this I can read so clearly. These Statlers and the Papermate Flare. These I really have to focus to read them, so there's a lot less ghosting. But for some reason my pens didn't hold up as well. I wonder if I just didn't press hard enough. Okay, I'm gonna give the Super Tip and the highlighter bled through. I'm gonna give those one more go. Same pages, I'm gonna go extra hard. We're gonna see if we can get those to make sense because that's the part that's really confusing me. Big highlighter, round 2. Okay, starting to tear up some paper there. Crayola Super Tip. Starting to tear up some paper there as well. And now back over here. Oh, tearing up the paper. Okay, so they both bled through a little bit. And over here they did bleed through the back, but I still... Okay, I got a tiny, tiny bit. Tiny. So here's what I'm thinking is causing the bleed through on this, but less ghosting, and not as much bleed through on this, but more ghosting. I think this paper is a little more resistant to bleed through. This one, the color is probably more, puts off the ghosting more. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna check the GSM weights of these papers. Okay, so I looked it up, and the Leuchtturm has a 70 GSM, and the Scribbles That Matter has 100 GSM. I'm still shocked that there was this much bleed through and nothing here. I mean, this is a little thicker paper. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. So what I'm gonna say is, if you're heavy-handed and bleed through is common for you, maybe not this one. However, I think you can tell there is a lot less ghosting right here. It is a lot harder to read. I can read this a lot easier than I can read what went through there. You guys are gonna have to tell me what to do about this comparison video. I couldn't make a decision on the last one, and I'm super confused by the ghosting bleed through. So, if you use either a Leuchtturm1917 or a Scribbles That Matter notebook, let us know your experience with it. Do you have a lot of bleed through issues? Is ghosting a problem? What do you think for general use? Because I mean, honestly, when I did it just very lightly, all of them except for the Sharpie marker, did fine. So I really think that either of them would work really well. It's just if you're going to get heavy-handed, you got to be really careful. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you everyone for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you all next week. Goodbye.